So today I want to talk about why the iPad is better than a traditional computer. So before anyone starts vigorously typing their keyboard about how I'm wrong on this, just hear me out. First and foremost, I'm team both. Like, I use an iPad and I use a traditional computer. In fact, I use an iPad, an iPhone, Android phone sometimes, Mac, PC, and a Chromebook. So I use everything. I'm not like one manufacturer is better than the other by any means. But there are some things that the iPad just does better for me than a traditional computer. And I use the computer all the time, so it's not like I'm iPad only or anything like that. There are many times where a computer is way better and way more efficient than using an iPad. I read an article from Jason Snell over at Macworld. I'll leave a link down below, where he talked about this and how an iPad, in what ways an iPad is better for him than a traditional computer. And it got me thinking, like, are there things that I do more efficiently on an iPad than a computer? And turns out there are a couple of different things that I do. So the first thing that came to mind was photo editing. I absolutely love photo editing on my iPad, and it's better than a laptop or even a desktop. Using an Apple Pencil on an iPad has changed the way that I interact with my pictures. Not to mention, the apps that are on an iPad are so much easier to use. If I just want to quickly offload a couple pictures, edit them real quick, and share them on a social network like Instagram, it's so much easier for me to do that on an iPad. So for me, I shoot in RAW. So it's easy for me to just grab a little dongle here, plug it into my iPad, transfer a couple pictures into Photos, open up Snapseed, VSCO, or even Lightroom, quickly edit them, and save it. I'm done. The other day I was trying to do that on my iMac here, and I was like, I don't want to open up Lightroom and have to like import all these pictures, like 2 pictures. I don't want to open up Photoshop because I'm not the greatest with Photoshop for what I needed to do. So I tried a couple apps from SetApp, like some applications I found in there. They really couldn't do it, so eventually I just grabbed my iPad, did what I needed to do, and emailed them to a client. So much easier to do it that way for me than it is to grab it, put it on a computer and all that kind of stuff. Especially pictures that I just need to edit once, and I don't need to keep or archive or anything like that if they're, I guess, what you call throwaway images, and I'm just quickly trying to share them. Number 2 is video editing. This, again, the iPad has completely changed the way I like to edit videos. Now, I use the app LumaFusion, and that is an iOS native app, and it's an iOS only app, really. They don't have a desktop version for Mac or PC. But being able to load in 4K footage, do the edits I need to do, even for the paid work I do. Now, a lot of the paid work I do are like sit down videos like this, and so there's not a ton of edits and things I have to really do. So for me, LumaFusion works great. But even multi-layer sequences, LumaFusion can handle perfectly well. So LumaFusion isn't free. It's $20, which is dirt cheap compared to something like Adobe Premiere. Even Adobe Premiere Elements is more expensive than that. And then for an additional $20, you can unlock a bundle where you can export an XML file and open that up in Final Cut. So if you really need to add transitions or some different After Effects, you can do that in there. Not After Effects, because that's a Adobe product. But if you need to add some kind of other elements to the video that LumaFusion can't do, you can do that in Final Cut. I'm not saying the iPad is the way for everybody. These are just ways for me. So for me, editing video on the iPad is more efficient and better than doing it in like Adobe Premiere. All of this is just my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, but for me, this works. And then I can airdrop it over to the desktop, because there, if I'm uploading to YouTube, it is much easier and more efficient, I found, to upload to YouTube through a desktop than it is on the iPad still. The third way the iPad works best for me over a desktop is writing. I find I'm able to create whatever environment I need at the time to sit down and start writing. So whether that's in a desktop mode, like I like to say, put in a stand, hook up a Bluetooth keyboard, and write that way. Whether it's sitting on the outside on the patio with the Bridge keyboard, or even this Logitech keyboard, using it that way, or grabbing the Apple Pencil, opening up an app, and taking notes and doing handwriting. I can do all of that on this one device. So it's really personal computing at its best, because I can create whatever mode I need it to be in. I can do that and I'm good to go. I know there are Windows laptops and Chromebooks that flip over and you can do the same thing. For me, the iPad just works. And lastly, the iPad has replaced a laptop for me in the daily general computing area, where I would normally use a laptop to like check email or do any kind of like banking online or ordering stuff on Home Depot, from the couch. I can do that all from the iPad. That also includes content consumption, like being able to grab the iPad, bring it in the kitchen, and open up a YouTube video while I'm cooking or something, like, those things that we do every single day. I used to do it on my phone, but I do it now more with the iPad, more than ever. It's something that's just with me all the time. I will say the iPad Pro 12.9 inch that I have is pretty big for a lot of that. So I'm sitting on the couch, I'm just trying to do some thumb typing. That is a little uncomfortable. So having an iPad mini in that situation would be better. And even things like reading books on the Kindle app would probably be better on a smaller iPad. In some of the areas where the bigger iPad Pro is a little bit too big, I think an iPad mini, or even, I do like the 9.7 inch iPad. I wish they kept that around. I get why they made it a little bit bigger. I like that smaller iPad for the couch or in the kitchen and things like that. Overall, the iPad has really changed the way I do these certain things. Again, it's not perfect. There are a lot of drawbacks of having an iPad or trying to force an iPad to be like a laptop. I don't think it's like a laptop. I don't think you should think of it like a laptop. For me, it's really changed the way I do things, especially in the video editing department. I didn't think, honestly, I would ever be not using Adobe Premiere, but I've used it less and less, and I've even started learning how to use Final Cut, because there are times where I need to do something or I want to add some other effects to a video that you can't do in LumaFusion, and you can't export it out to Premiere, so I have to open up Premiere and use it. However, with Final Cut, I like the idea of taking a video, starting it on the iPad, and if I need to, I can export it out to Final Cut and finish it up there. So those are my 4 examples of where the iPad is better than a traditional computer for me. I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. Are there times where the iPad is more efficient or effective to use than a traditional computer, or is a computer way better for a lot of things that you're doing? Thank you for watching this video. I will have links down below to things I've been talking about, like the iPad and the different cases and keyboards I use. Also, I'll have a link to my website where you can see my full gear or other past videos that you may have missed that I put out there. I hope you guys are doing well. I will see you next video. Talk to you later. Bye bye.